Welcome to I Can Read Vietnamese. Today we read with these 5 onsets: G, H, L, M, N, and another tone, Ngã. We practice what we've learned previously as well. The lessons are meant to be in sequence. Let's start with the onsets. These 5 onsets have equivalent sounds in English, so I think we can practice them all together. The first one is J with the sound G. This is another letter in Vietnamese where the letter name does not carry the letter sound. The letter name is J, but the letter sound is G. G, as in gà. H, H, as in hổ. L, L, as in lê. M, M, as in mì. N, N, as in nơ. Let's build 5 words with these 5 onsets, and then we can start reading right away. N, N, nơ. I, M, M, y, mi, huyền mì, mì. E, L, L, e, lê, lê. Just 2 more. A, G, G, a, ga, huyền gà, gà. O, H, H, ô, hô, hỏi hổ, hổ. Hồ, hồ cá. Hè, hè. Ha, ha, ha. He. These are laughing sounds. Speaking of laughing sounds, Santa goes ho, ho, ho in English. But in Vietnamese, this word is ho, meaning to cough. So to make sure Santa goes ho, 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 remember to add the circumflex on the top of letter R to change the letter R to the letter O. Ho, ho, ho. Lá, lá đỏ. Lò, lò ga. Bé bò lê bò la. Má, má is a southern term for mother, but in a different context, it also means the cheeks. Ma, mè. Mè is a tart fruit, very common in many Asian cuisines. You probably have tasted mè before if you've had pad thai or the Indian tamarind chutney. The Vietnamese use mè to make sour soups, sauces, stir-fries, and even sweet treats. Lá mè, the leaves of tamarind. Mơ, mơ is to dream, and it works for both night dream and day dream. Mở, mở. Nở, nở. Nở means to bloom, but in a different context, it also means to hatch. Nổ, nổ. No, no, ne. The first syllable, no, is already sufficient and meaningful. The second syllable, ne, only has an emphasis effect. No, ne. Bé có nơ đỏ. Má mở lò ga. Má có lê. Má để lê ở đó. Hồ cá có cá đỏ. Let's move on to the tone. Previously we've learned ngang, sắc, huyền, hỏi. Today we learn ngã. Let's put the tones on an arbitrary word. Ma, má, mà, mã, mã. Let's talk about pronunciation for a little bit. This is a tone graph. If you look at the vertical scale, it is how high or how low the pitch is. If you look at the horizontal scale, it is how short or how long the sound is. The first tone graph is for the neutral tone. It doesn't go up or down, it's level. Ma, ma. The second tone going up, ma. The third one going down, and you can see on the vertical scale, the pitch is much lower. Ma, 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 you go down and up, but overall the pitch is pretty low. Ma. The last one is pretty tricky. It also goes down and up. Each segment is very short and it's disconnected from each other. Ma. Let's talk about the last two tones together. The first one, you go down and up, but the two segments are connected. Ma. The second one, two segments are pretty much punctuated or separated from each other, and the pitch is pretty high at the end. Ma, ma. If you speak the Southern accent, you don't have to worry about the last tone. The last tone sounds exactly like the previous tone in the Southern accent. In this lesson, however, we'll try to distinguish all the different tones in Vietnamese, so we'll practice with the Northern accent. Let's mix them up. Ma, 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 ma. Ngã, as in gỗ. Let's build a couple of words. E, giờ, e, dê, ngã, dễ, dễ. O, g, o, rô, ngã, gỗ, gỗ. Đồ, gỗ, đồ, dễ, bể. Hà mã is a two-syllabled word, which means you have to use the two syllables together if you want to say hippopotamus. Previously, we've already learned another two-syllabled word, gò. Hà mã, gò. Lễ is a very general term for any ceremony, but when people say đi lễ, they often mean to go to the Sunday Mass. Lỗ, lá có lỗ. Mễ, cờ mễ. The Vietnamese often refer to the flag as a leaf of flag. Lá cờ mễ. Bà có đồ cổ dễ bể. Đi mễ. Bà đi lễ. Cô Hà có đồ gỗ. Cô Hà bế bé đi lễ. Now let's talk about the term đã. When you combine the term đã with a verb, you instantly change the tense of that verb to the present perfect tense. Let's look at a few examples. Bà đã đi lễ. Gà đã nở. Má đã bổ bí đỏ. Cô bê đã đi bỉ. Hà mã đã no nê. Let's review what we've learned today. G, as in gà. H, as in hổ. L, lê. M, ma. N, nơ. Ngã, as in gỗ. Let's have a short practice. You can mute my voice as necessary. Hà mã, dễ bể, lò ga, non nê. Bà bế bé đi lễ, bi có lá cờ mễ, bé có 3 lá cờ, bò đã no cỏ, bò đã no nê. Mỡ, mỡ is the fat part of meat. Mỡ, mỏ, mõ. Mõ is the wooden bell used in Buddhist temples. Gõ mõ, gõ mõ. Congratulations, not only have you learned 5 onsets today, you've learned a very hard tone in Vietnamese, ngã. In addition, you also encountered more multiple syllabled words. Now a very short dictation. See if you can write out the sentence. Hồ cá là đồ dễ bể. Hồ cá là đồ dễ bể. The answer is on the screen. Let's end the lesson with our progress check. We have about 200 elements to learn. Today we've learned 6, 5 onsets in 1 tone, and cumulatively we've learned 9, 7, and 5. That's 21, or 10% already. Hang in there. Next time we'll continue to read with 4 more onsets. R, SC, XC, T. Hope to see you then. Goodbye.